Greetings, everyone. Glenn Kellaway here from the basement. Hope everyone is having a great night. Excited to be getting things rolling here. Give me a sec to get myself straightened out. A lot of stuff going on, man. Just personally trying to keep it all together here. Everything's happening at once. Oh, okay. All right. I think we're good. There we go. Comments. I got one viewer. That's great. I appreciate that. Banners. I gotta have a banner. I got that one. So I'm saving that, and we're gonna do this. Let's make it short and sweet. Tonight we are discussing great debut albums. That's what it says right there. Man, I've had a flat rounded spun VC. Hey, thanks, man, for joining us. 5 people watching. So last couple of days, I'm always big on promoting the Amazon warehouse sales because I've been really lucky and gotten some great deals. I finally got burned first time. I ordered a Martin Barre. Now, Martin Barre, the guitarist from Jethro Tull, if anybody doesn't recognize the name. Double live album, red vinyl, sells regularly on Amazon.ca for $51. Sells on Amazon.com. I looked it up for around $30, might be 29 or 28 or something, but they wanted $4 for shipping. It was $29 plus $4 shipping because it was a third-party guy. So it was 32 US, which by the time you get up here is pretty close to $50 by the time I would get it over the border to me. So it's arguing's sake, it's $50 album. I found it on Amazon warehouse sale in Canada. It was 30. It was somewhere between $30 and $35 about a month ago, and I just put it in my save for later thing and just kept watching it and saw it drop to 34 and 33 and 31. It was at 31 for a while, and I thought, if it ever gets in the 20s, and I got it for $28. So I pulled the trigger on it, and I got it yesterday, all excited. I played the first album, and it was fantastic. I was loving it. It's a really good album. Martin Barre live in New York. Go to put the second disc on. It is the album, the disc, the record, the vinyl. It was so warped that the needle jumped, when I put it down, jumped back off the record, almost back onto the arm, the cradle, or whatever you want to call it. It was like really, really badly defective. So I sent it back. Hello, Dan Pepsi. Hey, Glenn. Hey, Doc. How you doing? Giddy up. Are you? Did you get the email, Sam? Hey, Doc. A great debut is closing time. Tom waits. It is. I almost pulled it. I bet you Sam pulls it. Anyway, so today I got a great deal on the Grateful Dead 4 CD set, the newest release, RFK 1973. There's a vinyl set that I would love to have, and it's 8 records, but just a bit out of my price range. Sam, I don't know what's going on, buddy. I'm going to copy and paste here. Oh, Lord. Lord help me. There we go. You can come on. So I ordered that today. It comes. I'm all excited. I was out all day today, 4 o'clock. My wife says, "Hey, your package came." I came, opened it up, come downstairs, throw the first disc in the CD player. My CD player won't recognize the disc. It's like I haven't put a disc in the CD player yet. It's really weird. So I take it out, put it in again, nothing. And then I Put the second disc in, plays perfectly. Sounded great. I loved it. It was a great show. And then third disc plays great. I haven't tried the fourth disc yet. So I went to Amazon. Now I got to return that frickin' thing. So it's not been a good couple of days for me with Amazon. Oh, hey, buddy.
Hey, Glenn.
I was just crying in my beer over my Amazon orders.
That's interesting because I know you don't drink.
Yeah. 2 days in a row, man. My Grateful Dead set I got today's defective. The record I got yesterday is defective.
I just ordered I had a John Coltrane album that I ordered like 4 or 5 days ago. I just got it today. I haven't played it yet, but I don't know. They're getting bad, Amazon.
Well, the one it was an Amazon warehouse thing, but they say they inspected it. So to me, that should mean that it's not defective.
Right.
I understand if maybe there's a skip on it that they can't recognize, but when an album is so warped, it jumps the needle right off the record. I mean, somebody should be looking at that.
Was it outside? Was it outside of your house very long?
No.
In the heat or anything?
No, like 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. I'm sorry. Because I know you've been looking forward to that.
You've been talking about that. That's what I got today. The one disc doesn't even, it's like there's no music on it.
Yeah, that's
weird.
Ridiculous.
So, but that's a factory defect. I can't blame Amazon for that.
The warping you can, for sure.
And in all fairness to them, they do have great customer service. When I went to return it, they say, hey, we'll ship you another one. Get it out to you tomorrow or tonight or whenever. And as long as you send that one back by a certain date, you won't be charged twice. So that was, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've done a lot of returns with Amazon, and they never have given me any grief.
Yeah, no, they're good that way. I like Amazon. I'm not an Amazon basher in any way. So
I don't bash them either. I do bash when they pack the package. I mean, for me, it's always jewel cases that cause me grief with CDs because I can't trust it through Amazon. I want to buy those by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's a jewel case, there's a good chance. I ordered a Jerry Garcia set once when I was in Florida, and it came, and it isn't one of those cardboard things, but it's like it was a triple CD set. So the cardboard ones, they fold over like an accordion almost. One of the discs was smashed. Like they didn't put it in; they put it in like a brown envelope, and the disc was like smashed like a plate. It was just in pieces.
I don't know if you saw, I reposted on my community page one of our videos just to
did you?
Remind people of the Cosmic Torpedoes. Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
Now on the way, we're leaving for Florida August 21st or 22nd. I can't remember, somewhere around there. Hey, Rob, but I'm not going to make it your way on the way down.
Are you flying or are you driving?
What? We're driving.
You're driving?
Hopefully on the way back.
Okay.
The way down, we're taking a different. We got to get there fast, so we're not gonna take the circuitous route.
What is the faster way if it's not through Roanoke?
It's straight I-95 or something. It's kind of goes, so I don't have to go over towards Roanoke. I go straight down past it to the I would say to the east of it.
Mm-hmm.
The fast way is an airplane.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but not really. I'll tell you. The amount of time I got to spend 2 hours at the airport. I got to spend 3 hours ahead of time just checking in. I got to spend another hour sitting there because the plane's always late.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to fly for 2 hours, and then I got to get off the plane and wait an hour for my luggage. And then, so how many hours is that? 8?
Believe me, I did it twice last week.
Halfway to Florida.
I did it twice last week. I get it.
If you want a side note, if you want a piece of Sam history, my mug has a 7-year-old picture of me on it. So
that is awesome.
If you want to know what I look like,
is that for sale in your merch store, Sam?
It might be one day. This is first grade Sam. Yeah.
Look at that.
Where'd you get that?
So the design is based off of a mug that was in the show The Office, and so my sister made me this for my birthday about 2 years ago. And so she found like the youngest picture that, like, she found like an awkward picture.
That's hilarious.
So I'm not smiling. My best friend and I at the time thought we were like all cool, and we said we're not going to smile during our school pictures. And so I couldn't keep a straight face. He could, but I couldn't. So I was like trying not to smile, and I was missing teeth and everything.
I'm trying to do the hair thing. Is it all combed forward, or is it?
It's the bowl cut. You can see
It's the Mo Howard.
Yeah, it is the Mo Howard, indeed. Yeah, I mean, one of these days I'll bring it back.
That's how I combed my hair this morning. See?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Can't you see?
Oh God, that's hilarious.
I gotta wear a hat because there's so much glare.
7-year-old Sam. Well, 6-year-old Sam, I should say.
That's hilarious. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great mug.
Yeah. If you ever come back this way, Glenn, you can drink your Dr. Pepper Zero out of it.
Okay, I'm doing that. We'll try our best for the way back. The debut by the first edition was great.
I just dropped in.
Actually, it wasn't bad. That Kenny Rogers in the first edition, they were okay.
I've never heard the whole album.
Oh yeah. I if that's the name of Guy Clark's first album, I didn't know. I love Guy Clark, but I'm not really know much about his discography. But I got a chance to spend some time with Guy Clark back in the '90s, and he was a great guy.
That's cool.
The Little Rascal.
Yeah.
Or you kind of look like
Mickey. I kind of look. Well,
no, Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. He had his hair.
Well, yeah, that too. Like you said, the Mo Howard, that works too.
Yeah. So, anything exciting going on before we start our fantastic topic? Not a damn thing.
Anything exciting? I feel like I had something, but it might come up later.
So we're going to do great debut albums. I think we said on our email pick our top 10. I'm kind of deviating from that a little bit. Sorry, Guy. I was going to send an email, and then I thought, no, I would do it too late and everybody'd be pissed. So I just picked 10 that I really love that aren't necessarily like I'm sick of reading Led Zeppelin's debut and King Crimson's debut. I wanted to pick some other stuff. So I love all the ones I picked, but
so then you'll be making Rob and I look really bad as we pick, Led Zeppelin and King Crimson. And
if either of you picked the King Crimson,
I did not. I don't own any King Crimson.
I'll throw you guys
he's gonna put in was it Fearless by Taylor Swift? What was the first one? Speak Now, or was it?
No, self-titled.
Self-titled, yeah. Well,
I do own it.
I'm sure,
but I don't think it's a very good album. So,
speaking of, I guess before we start, what do you think of the Big Paul McCartney announcement that he's continuing his tour?
Well, he's going to Australia.
Yes, six dates, which I guess will show that
he's coming back to North America too.
That I don't know. What did he tour Europe on the last one?
I don't think so.
So I bet you he's going to go to Europe or Asia, because he always likes to play in Portugal and Japan and places like that.
I think if he still wants to do it and people want to pay the ticket prices, why not? I think his voice is not great anymore, but you don't go to hear Paul's voice. You just go to hear Paul.
If he comes here and I have the money, I would go see him. Unfortunately, I don't have the money.
I don't think I would go.
Yeah, no,
I went last May. It was,
but
fantastic.
Here's why. I saw him once 20 years ago, and it was so good. I would dare say for me it was almost a religious experience, and I'm not a religious person.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
That's how significant it was for me. And I think if I were to hear him now when his voice is not great, I don't want to be left with that memory. The memory of the concert I have with him was so perfect. I'm going to keep that one.
They probably lower the key in the instant some of the songs, and they adapt, and it all sounds good.
And I will say,
I need to save up my money for when Taylor comes to Canada. So
yeah, or the cash grab when
I'm not joking.
When Fleetwood Mac comes back, you can do the Fleetwood Mac cash grab tour.
I would do that, sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I saw McCartney in May. It was the second time I saw him, too. It was about a 7-year time span between the first time and the second time. It was better than the first time I saw him. And I know that, Joe Mayo, he's the first one to talk about Paul McCartney's voice, and he went up in Jersey and he said it was fantastic. He's like, every Paul McCartney show you go to is the best Paul McCartney show you've ever been to.
Yeah.
And that's true. You can talk about his voice all day long, but then when you go, it's like, that's the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, I won't go only because I just those concerts are out of my freaking price range
No,
nowadays.
all I'm saying is when I saw I've Got a Feeling with John Lennon, that was just
That's cool.
Yeah,
that
my
was just
daughter
a
and
cool-
son-in-law went last year and loved it.
Yeah, oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have no problem. I'm a big fan of aging rockers keep rocking.
Oh yeah, me too.
If they can do it, why not?
Yeah.
I would love to see Tom Waits do it again. He's on my bucket list. He's probably top of my
Well,
bucket list.
here's one
Living
for
Sword.
you. My sister-in-law is getting married next year and just got tickets for Swift in London next year. for the
I
honeymoon.
wish. The rumor is that when she's done her international dates next fall, the rumor is she's going to do 10 dates at Rogers Center in Toronto. That would be awesome.
10 dates?
Apparently, that's the rumor going around.
Wow. That would be, I don't know if anybody's ever done that before.
No, I don't think they have.
And why would she pick Toronto to do that?
Well, because that is such a large stage show that it needs to be a venue of a certain size in order for the show to make money. So we don't have many stadiums in Canada that are
No,
big
but
enough.
I understand it being at that stadium, but I just wonder why she would do 10 shows in Toronto as opposed
Maybe
to
because she figures she can sell them out. So
New
I don't know.
York or New Jersey.
It's just a rumor. It's what I've been reading online. So
that'd be great. I think it'd be great for the city. So
yeah.
Skydiggers first is great. I don't know if I've ever heard the Skydiggers first album. All right.
Same here. Of course I have it. It's phenomenal. This version is signed by the band too, by the way.
Oh, cool. Hi, everyone. Cheers from Canada. Yes.
I may have some connections to the Skydiggers.
You're cheering two guys from Canada and one honorary Canadian. Yes, Rob, save up for Taylor so she can pay her crew members their $100,000 bonuses.
Yeah, why not? They deserve it.
Trevor, you're a jaded individual. Bought the Beatles 6770 comp on Japanese blue vinyl and comes with a few booklets and poster.
Did you see that's the new Beatles news too? The
That's
blue
the
and red
rumor.
album.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I don't know
thrilled.
why I would need that, but
I'm not thrilled.
I'm not thrilled. I'll still buy it though.
are you experienced? We're getting all the everybody's throwing out their debuts. Have the Skydiggers on original cassette. The cassette's probably worth more money than the vinyl.
Well, it wasn't actually pressed on vinyl until a few years ago. Like
okay.
It was only ever put out on CD and cassette. But this was like the 30th or 25th anniversary or whatever that they put. I think 25th anniversary. So
Okay, well, let's get started. Who's going first? I
You
am.
go first.
And I picked Sam. I've been bugging his butt over the past few days about this album, and I'm throwing it in there because I'm just blown away by how freaking good it is. And I know Sam would think it's the greatest album he's ever heard in his life.
All right.
Remember when you were on me about Marty Stewart way out west, and I
Yep.
procrastinated, and then I finally did it and went, oh man, what was I waiting for? You're going to do that for me with this. I talked to you about this guy, Ian No, Between the Country. I'm telling you, this guy's from Eastern Kentucky. This album came out in 2019. He's got the voice you would expect him to have.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of John Prine-ish. He could be his cousin, maybe that kind of relation. But great songwriting, great guitar playing for the most part, beautiful songs. Some are quirky, some are just awesome. Sam, I guarantee you would love this album. I'm just thrilled with this thing. He's only got 2 records out, but this one is amazing.
I've pulled it up and I will listen to it
Oh, blew me away.
so I don't forget it.
So that's the debut album, my number 10.
All right,
Who's
Rob.
next?
all right, I'll go next. I actually kind of went along the same lines as Glenn. I didn't necessarily pick the ones that I think are the best. I sort of picked my favorite debut albums. So I'm going with this monster that launched the career of one of the greatest rock bands,
There you go,
Aerosmith, self-titled.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them, eh? Well, they're a great band. Great songs in here. Mama Kin, Dream On. Yeah, just from 73. So, I mean, I'm a bigger fan of the later Aerosmith just because that was my Aerosmith as a kid, but this is one hell of a debut record. So,
All right. Well, this will probably be the only hip hop album to make an appearance.
Vanilla Ice?
Yeah, right.
I knew it.
I've shown this one before on the stream, and I did a video with Brian Massey on it. This is License to Ill by the Beastie Boys. Just a perfect debut. It's one of those albums that every song flows to the next, produced by Rick Rubin when he was with Def Jam. I think it was their first album on Def Jam, then they broke away. But, I mean, they had hits on here like No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Paul Revere, Brass Monkey, Fight for Your Right was the big one. She's Crafty, Girls, like all standard Beastie Boys cuts. Tons of great samples on here. And for a rap album, it's clean. So if profanity is kind of your turn off from rap, this one is pretty much clean. The next one, Paul's Boutique, is not, but this one pretty much is. Came out in 1986, very ahead of its time, and kind of set the stage for hip hop, which I am not a hip hop fan. But this is like rock hip hop because they have, like heavy guitars. The Beastie Boys were part of a punk band, so they have punk elements in the music. I really, really like this album. And I probably shouldn't, but I do. So License to Ill is my number 10.
I've never heard that album.
I don't know what you think, but it's top of the line for me.
That's cool. What else we got here? Dan saying the Cars. Yeah.
That was my honorable mentions.
Boston. A monster.
Yep.
Jimmy Pearl and Grandpa Jones. Did they have a debut album?
I don't know.
It's called Howdy.
Yeah.
Great call on Aerosmith.
Yeah,
Doc
you're gonna
likes that one. Doc's an Aerosmith fan. We know
That's
that.
Kissing Up to Doc. Yeah.
Yeah. My top 3 debuts that aren't mentioned a million times. They're coming.
That's a good.
I did like the Beastie Boys album when it first out, but I like it a lot now. It's amazing, when years can make a difference, On
Well, what's interesting about James is he's always commenting on my videos. I mean, he really likes modern pop, and I don't know how old James is, but I think he said he's much older than I am. No offense, James, but he likes Harry Styles and Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran, but I can't do it. But he's always talking about how he loves that stuff. But
James is 87 years old.
Right, or he's Elvis actually. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with liking Taylor Swift.
Out of the park on the first album.
Yeah.
My favorite band. The best albums for me are Jimi Hendrix, the Beatles, Doors, and Zeppelin. I agree. They're so friggin' great. I didn't want to mention them on my list, Roy, because they're just, it was too predictable because those are the monster.
I don't think the Beatles debut is great because it pales in comparison to the stuff they did later. So for me, if it wasn't the Beatles, that would be a great debut. But for me, it's not because of everything else.
Yeah.
It was like
I love it.
Yeah, but everybody else at that time were doing debuts like that. The Who and or even like Herman's Hermits were doing stuff like where it was like half covers, a couple of originals.
Yeah, I don't think it's remarkable.
The Ramones.
That was an honorable mention.
Butterfly. Montrose. Ronnie Montrose.
Sammy.
Throwing out some good picks. Okay, number 2. Oh, one more. Sneak in one more comment. Pretenders. Oh, yeah. I didn't pull that. Great one. Sawyer Brown. Another great one. Wow, everybody's got some great picks. Okay. Well, since I mentioned John Prine when I was talking about Ian Noll, I got to pull this one. I mean, John Prine's debut album, 1971, I think. Is that the year?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you listen to this album, and you just needed to hear Hello in There and Sam Stone, two of the most poignant, incredible songs ever written. And you were hooked, right? And then you get to Paradise, Far From Me, Angel from Montgomery. I mean, this is just Donald and Lydia.
Yeah.
what an album of incredible songwriting. I mean, just unbelievable how deep those songs were, yet so relatable to the
And
average
he's only about
person.
24 or so. Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. What a great debut.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to sneak that one in.
As you should.
On the mic showing up, make another appearance, but you never know.
We know Rob will show it.
So my next one is one that Glenn actually showed in one of his I think it was your recent finds video. This to me was a band that doesn't get enough recognition, but in my mind they invented that alt country genre. So from 1990, I'm going with No Depression by Uncle Tupelo.
Ah, yeah.
What a stellar record.
Yeah.
Graveyard Shift, No Depression, Factory Bell, Whiskey Bottle. Just a fantastic. I think they were only around for like 3 years before they split off into Son Volt and Wilco. And this and Anodyne are the two, in my mind, the two really, really good Tupelo albums. But this was the one that started their career in 1990. So No Depression.
Great records.
An album that I don't show a lot, I've shown it a couple of times, but not a whole lot, is the debut by Mumford & Sons called Sigh No More.
That's a good one.
This came out in 2009, I believe. Yeah, I think 2009, doesn't say on the back, but this was huge when it came out. This kind of like respawned the folk movement, like the modern folk music, which there were already groups around, like the Avett Brothers have already been around for a couple of years before this album, but they came and their stuff actually hit the radio. And so
but like they brought it to prominence.
They brought it to prominence, and they spawned the way for groups like the Lumineers, of Monsters and Men, groups like that. Punch Brothers, Decemberists. Yeah. So I mean, this has the Cave, Sigh No More, White Blank Page, which is almost like they mix punk with like the bluegrass instruments, but it's not they're not bluegrass harmonies.
Yeah.
And then they have like heavy songs like Dust Bowl Dance, which is like a heavy rock song. Little Lion Man, Tim Shell, which is a beautiful acoustic harmony song. Just a fantastic song. Marcus Mumford's voice, he's just got that strong, gravelly English accent to his voice, and they really, really knocked it out. Second album was pretty good, and then they kind of really dropped off for me. But this is just a perfect record. Sigh No More by Mumford & Sons.
That's a great choice. They were monsters. They were selling out hockey arenas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And banjos.
Just a quartet. Yeah.
Quartet.
Love it.
Okay. The Monkees debut is good. That might make an appearance later. The Byrds debut was remarkable. James, I agree with you 100%. I had that in my hand, but I just decided to show some other stuff. My top 3 debuts that aren't mentioned a million times. Opus Eponymous by Ghost. Have not heard that. Gloom Ballet by The Wrath. Don't know that. The Age of Quarrel by the Cro-Mags. That's a cool name. I've never heard of any of those. Pretty cool. Thanks, Trevor. Nice to hear different stuff. Buffalo Springfield debut, another great one.
I like Buffalo Chicken Wings better.
Arctic Monkeys. Never heard that. John Prine's debut is basically a greatest hits album. I agree. Every song. MC5. The one that probably won't get mentioned. Lynyrd Skynyrd pronounced. Yeah, Lynyrd Skynyrd. I mean, come on.
Almost made my list.
Yeah, Jefferson Airplane Takes Off. I love that album.
Yep.
Just got here. Anyone mentioned Captain Beyond yet? And no, we haven't mentioned them yet. I like the Mumfords. Yeah, it's great.
It's fantastic.
Uncle Tupelo was fantastic. Yes. Barnstorm. Yeah, I guess you can say. I didn't really think about Joe Walsh. Yeah, that's one of my favorite albums of all time, so I'm not going to argue with you. I wasn't thinking about Joe Walsh's solo stuff. My other more obscure favorites are Family Music in a Doll's House. Oh, Family Music in a Doll's House. Stray, great live English band, one and only album by Sunforest. Oh, cool. Roy's always full of interesting stuff. Juice Newton. I could live without Juice, but it was a big hit album. Marshall Crenshaw. Hey, Randy.
That was on my short list, Randy.
Black Crows, Tom Petty.
I almost
Was
pulled
the Black Crows was the Shake Your Money Maker?
Mhm.
Is that their first album?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great freaking record.
Yeah,
They
I
never did
almost
another one
I
either.
almost pulled that one.
Yeah.
Then I put it back.
In my opinion, they never came close again with that.
What's the
album.
second one? It's got that brown cover on it. Shit, I
Yeah.
can't remember. That one's equally as good.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I kind of went mad. They kept disappointing me after that.
I gotta look.
Southern-
I can't remember the name.
The Southern Harmony musical companion.
Yeah. That's the one. I think that's a good record too.
Okay, it's my turn, right?
It is.
Um,
If you come back.
I'm gonna
Oh, there he
a
is.
female. I love this artist. Ricky Lee Jones.
Mm.
Her first album was great. She was hanging out with Tom Waits at this time, and just a great singer-songwriter album. Her autobiography, Last Stop in Texaco or whatever, it's a freaking great book. But Chucky's in Love was a huge hit for her off of this album. And there's Easy Money's Cool, Last Chance Texaco, Coolsville, Danny's All-Star Joint is one of the toe-tappingest songs ever. And this is just a great record.
I've never listened.
Really? It's really, you should listen to this album. It's really good. You'd like this album. Ricky Jones.
Cool.
All right. I only have this on picture disc, but a band I'm fanatical about. The Darkness, Permission to Land. I apologize. There's a naked person on the front. This is a great British glam rock band from the early 2000s. Love it. They had a big monster hit on here called I Believe in a Thing Called Love. If you don't like profanity, The Darkness is not for you. This is more profanity on it than any record I've ever heard, but it's bloody phenomenal. Side note,
Hey, don't say bloody on a live chat.
why not?
We don't allow swearing on this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Blasphemous.
It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
So one of my grails is the black vinyl pressing of this, which is crazy hard to find. And they just announced 2 weeks ago that they're going to repress it for the 25th anniversary. So I don't have to bother tracking down the grail. I ordered, and they're doing like a 10 LP, but I can't justify that. I'm just getting the double. And I've taken a gamble and I've pre-ordered it through Amazon. I've never ordered a record from Amazon Canada, so we'll see what kind of shape that arrives in. But this is a great, very loud glam rock Brit.
Interesting.
It's fantastic.
I've heard a lot of people talk about that album.
It's their best. Their second one, which is called One Way Ticket to Hell and Back, is also very good. I've got all of them, but the first two are the best, I think.
Very cool.
He is Justin Hawkins, who's the lead guitarist and lead singer, has a really, really good YouTube channel called Justin Hawkins Rides Again, where he reacts to music, and he's very different than his onstage persona. He's very well spoken, very well educated in terms of music. He's a great channel to watch.
Cool.
Sam, are you up?
It is me. Somebody just mentioned this one, and yes, this is one of my favorite artists, but though it's a great debut, it is not it's a strong record, but it's not like a fantastic, perfect record. And that's the debut by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I mean, obviously you have Breakdown and American Girl on here, which are just perfect tracks. You also have, the first track, Rocking Around With You, is just fantastic, kind of punky to it. Mystery Man has this great slide guitar by Mike Campbell. It's very country. Fooled Again, I don't like it. Anything that's rock and roll is kind of 60s garage. So it's got some punky elements to it, but it's also got that jangle that would become synonymous with Tom Petty in those early albums. But I mean, it does have, stuff like, Hometown Blues and Luna, which aren't his strongest song. I don't think he has a bad song ever. But it's a great debut. It's not a fantastic debut, but I really, really, really like this album. So Tom Petty.
Did he, I'm trying to remember, Leon Russell, did he have something to do with that?
Leon Russell? That I don't.
Wasn't Tom Petty using his studio, or he didn't produce it, or isn't there some history with Leon Russell back in the early days?
That I don't know. I wish I
Yeah.
did. This was recorded at Shelter Studios.
Well, that's Leon Russell.
Yeah. So there you go. And then they had what's his name? Like I think Dwight Twilley had some background vocals on here. I think.
Cool.
And I think even like Randall Marsh from Mudcrutch played on one of the cuts. They were still trying to form, but yeah, great stuff.
Just to keep everything friendly, Doc says hi to Randy. Does John Lennon's solo debut Plastic Ono Band count? I think
I would say so.
I was thinking of putting the McCartney and the Lennon thing and the Harrison thing in there.
I would.
But I would have got too Beatles centric, but they're all well deserving. Armageddon, Keith Relf's band. I don't know that.
I don't know that.
Hey guys, hey Jack.
Hey Jack.
Molly Hatchet. Great Southern band. Saw Ricky Lee Jones recently. She's great live. I've never seen her, and I would love to. She just did an album of all jazz standards and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
She's got an album called It's Like That, where she does all covers, and she does the most beautiful version of For No One. Absolutely beautiful.
Huh.
Larry Graves. Big Graves, Daddy-O. Oh, yeah. Elvis, I should have pulled that one. Rod?
Hey, Rod.
Did you get your package, Rob?
Hey, Matt, I just got the delivery notice from Canada Post. I'll be picking it up at the post office tomorrow morning. Thank you. I'll make a video when I open it.
Marcia, I've been waiting for you to show up. Did anybody watch Steve's live from All the World's Estates? They did a live chat on Sunday night, and Trevor, who's watching, is a co-host, and Marcia is now seems to be a regular co-host on the show. They're awesome together. Love all three of them. They did a thing where they were destroying overrated albums from the 80s. And man, some of the picks, like I forget the ones Trevor picked Peter Gabriel's Soul album, which I think is great. I don't know. They're just going, what the heck? They were making me mad.
If Steve does anything, it sparks controversy and makes everybody angry. Yeah.
Be careful who you hang out with, Marcia. You'll get a bad name. You should just stick with us guys. Just watched your last video, Glenn. What is a Grateful Dead you have coming?
Sore subject.
I got it today, Steve. It's a 4 CD set of RFK 73, and one of the discs is defective. So Amazon's sending me out another one. I'll have it tomorrow. But is it ever good? I listened to 2 of the discs that were working today out of the 4. Dwight Twilley, the power pop hero, played on the first Tom Petty album.
They were still figuring it out.
Really huge connections there.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, here we go.
Hey, Doc.
What's that site where people it's like a dating site, but for people to fool around on each other?
Tinder?
Madison or
oh, is it?
Oh,
I feel like we're doing that.
Ashley Madison.
Ashley Madison.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing here. We're kind of because Doc's married. The Killers, Hot Fuss, cold cuts or lunch meat.
Isn't that the same thing though? Cold cuts or lunch meat?
Yeah.
From where you're from,
Fonzie. We weren't hating on those. I know you weren't. I was just teasing. Keeper Grave is good, but kind of bores me too. Oh, now we got another guy going on. Glenn, I don't remember you telling us you were watching. I didn't watch live. I watched the next day. I watched the repeat. I forgot you guys were on Sunday nights.
He's like that creepy guy that watches from the bushes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm always.
He moves the fog away from the window.
Yeah.
Graham Parker, Howlin' Wind. Yeah, Graham Parker's I have RFK. It was VCLT from Randy Weaver. It is great. Yeah. I think folks on the Hoppin forum said the same about the defective disc from
Wow.
the RFK. Not sure what the solution is. Oh, I wonder if I'm going to get the same issue tomorrow when I get a new one.
That would be interesting.
You'll have a bunch of Grateful Dead coasters.
I think Marcia hated Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA album.
That's heavy.
Yeah. Okay, next. A band that always appreciated, but really got heavy into in the past few months. So their debut, The Police.
Mm. Cool.
Outlandis d'Amour. It's like it when I speak French. It's a great classic tracks on it. It's just a great album. Can't Stand Losing You. What else is on here? Is Roxanne on here? Yeah, Roxanne. That's on here too.
Sounds like they're right here.
So
Wow.
Lonely.
He would turn off the red lights. I'll tell you.
Yeah. I love this album. It's great. I like all their albums. There are 5 albums that are all excellent.
I love the cover too. That that yellow art. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
All right. My next one, unfortunately, folks, is one only probably Glenn is going to recognize. This was it. I've just rediscovered this album in the last few months. It was and I've talked about it a couple times on my channel already, but I'm going to harp on it again. Too damn bad. It was a massive staple of Canadian radio and much music in the late 90s. And I've just rediscovered it because it's just been pressed on vinyl for the first time. This incredible debut by Amanda Marshall. Phenomenal is all I can say about it. She's just toured Canada. She just did her comeback tour after being away for 20 years. 10 songs in here, 6 of them were radio hits in Canada. Her second album was great as well, but this came out in 95, and it was her debut with Sony. And right out of the gate, her bass player was Leland Sklar, who's the famous session player. Her guitar player was the other famous session guitar player that's on YouTube, and his name escapes me at the moment. She had an incredible team of musicians on this album, and it's just I liken it to it's like Sheryl Crow with a little bit of soul. It's absolutely flipping phenomenal. She only had one hit that did anything in the States, and it was on here. It's called Birmingham. The rest of them, if you're not in Canada, you probably would not have heard it. She toured all over the world for this. Elton John promoted the hell out of this album when it came out because he was a huge fan, but this is just a phenomenal, top 40 rock radio record. It's awesome.
Was that on your Lost 90s Classics as well? Was that a 90s album?
Yeah, it is. It was in one of my videos. I just
I've seen you
can't
talk about it
remember.
before.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in 2 other videos, but
Yeah.
like I loved it back in the day, and I listened to the hell out of it in '95, but I didn't own it on CD, and it hasn't been on vinyl until about 3 months ago. So it's kind of one of those that I had forgotten about because she's vanished from the music scene. But if you're a Canadian, there's a good portion of this album that you always hear in the bank, in the dentist's office, at the grocery store. Like, these songs are they're always there, but they're phenomenal.
Cool. All right. Well, I just did a video on this gentleman not too long ago, and I was trying to avoid bringing this album up, but I had to because it's such a great debut to his career, his short career. And it's 5 Leaves Left by Nick Drake. It's again, he only put out 3 studio albums in his lifetime. And then, they had a few comps that came out posthumously. Great songs on here. Riverman is probably the biggest on here. That's like a Nick Drake song that a lot of people know. Most of this album is just very acoustic or piano, but it's also weird tunings. If you like weird tunings, he plays guitars that have very dead strings, but it works really well with his kind of smoky, soft voice. Cello song Day Is Done is beautiful with a great orchestration to it. Saturday Sun is kind of hopeful song because the rest of the songs are pretty much, I mean, they're down and they have kind of a very, somber feel to them. But what an album! 5 Leaves Left. I absolutely love this album. I think it's my favorite Nick Drake album. I jump between the three all the time, but right now I think this is my favorite. If you like acoustic stuff, if you like, just introspective lyrics, again, I said in the video, this is like an album that I listen to in the dead of fall, like late October into November, when it's gray out, when it's, it gets dark out early. Listen to Nick Drake, and this album in particular is just beautiful. So
I got to get the other two. I've only got Brighter Lighter. I got to get the other ones.
Yeah, you do.
Roy, Leon Russell's first album is fantastic. I agree. What a great album. Marsha, I actually hated Rick. That's the one I wanted to bug you about. I was having a
Oh,
blank.
no.
So I looked it up. Marsha, come on. I'm looking up the songs in there. Clap Hands. Fantastic.
Line broke, monkey got choked.
Big Black Mariah. I like that song.
Downbound Train.
Time is a beautiful song. Downtown Train.
Yeah.
Killer
Rain Dogs.
Rain Dogs. Marsha, is it just you don't like Tom Waits at all, or just this particular Tom Waits albums? Because
that would be I think that would be even weirder if you liked Tom Waits a lot and you didn't like Rain Dogs.
Yeah. And remember, September 1st, all the vinyl reissued starting.
I know. I just splurged a bunch of money on they've been reissuing all of Jim Croce's albums for their 50th, and they're like $22 online. I was like, so I just bought 3 of them.
Wow.
I bought a bunch of those Tom Waits ones for the CDs coming out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have them on vinyl. We'll see.
Well, I just think that especially like Bone Machine, Big Time, and that they're gonna sell it really fast.
They're not limited though, I don't think.
Well, yeah, but everything kind of in vinyl these days has a run of some kind. I don't know if you just keep producing them, but
have you ordered yours?
No, I haven't ordered them. I'll wait. I'm going to take some stuff down to Florida with me to trade in. So I'm going to go down to Park Avenue CDs and trade them in. And hopefully I can use that money to buy the vinyl. I'll be down there September 1st. So that's my plan. The Peter Gabriel Melt is killer. Yes. Ventures. Hamilton, Joe, Frank, and Reynolds. And I like when Neil Young was with them too. That was great. Hamilton, Joe, Frank, Reynolds, and Young. No worries, Marshall. Waits isn't the easiest digestible artist.
He's smooth as silk, Trevor.
Come on, Trevor. Don't be so damn nice. Paul Williams, Someday Man. Paul Williams. The Good Rat. Tasty is really killer album. Check it out. Never heard of that. Thanks, Joel. There's one that I get the feeling might show up.
Stay tuned.
It was on my short list.
Slanted and Enchanted.
It's on my desk right now.
Just joined, so don't know if Outskirts was mentioned.
Well, since I'm the biggest Blue Rodeo fan there is, you can bet your ass it's in this pile.
My Aim is True. Yeah, that's twice now that's been mentioned. That's awesome. First Rush album. Yeah, it took me many years to figure that one out, but yeah, it's a good album. Velvet Underground and Nico. I can't get the Velvet Underground, man. I just can't. I can't do Lou Reed. Do you guys like Lou Reed?
No.
No.
I think he's the biggest overrated talent, if you want to call him that's ever lived.
I'm not that far. I'm just kind of indifferent.
No, the worst part of the Bob Dylan 30th anniversary thing was him doing whatever song he did for like 9 minutes long. It was just terrible. Terrible. I'm very vocal about Lou Reed.
Yeah, he's brutal.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Jack Music, I think that's okay. It's not for everyone. Was Leland Sklar mentioned?
Yeah, he plays bass on that.
Play based on the Amanda Marshall debut album,
which is phenomenal.
Ray Cleaves. I don't know what that is. Randy, you were right.
Yeah, Randy, I know there's a Waits guy.
You would like Stars and Angels. I guess that puts me out. I know this person.
Uh-huh.
Leave Marshall alone. Glenn knows how much I dislike Tom Waits. It was actually scares me knowing the CDs are in the house. I like 70s Barfly Tom Waits. I'll listen to those about once every year or two. Oh, cool. Well, that's good. As safe as yesterday, humble pie. Yeah, humble pie for sure. LOL, Lynn. Are any of you getting the Who's Next box set?
Yes.
I can't afford it.
I haven't I'm going to wait for it to be out for a few weeks so it can drop.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's going to just drop, or maybe at Christmas time. If I see one of my rich relatives around, I might ask them to get it for me or something. I have to disagree in that I'm a fan of Lou Reed and Velvet Underground. Yeah, Randy, you and
Brian, Embryonic Robot's a huge fan.
Just joined. How about Twice Removed from Yesterday by Trower? I'm not sure if I know that Robin Trower album. I had a couple of them, like Into the. I think one was called Into the Sun that I owned. I don't know if I've heard that one. Lee Scar's a neighbor here in Pasadena.
Oh, wow.
Oh, very cool. Boy, he's got some stories to tell.
I was just going to say the stories that man would have.
He's played with everybody.
Isn't he in a super group right now called like The Family or something like that?
Oh, yeah?
Like
they're a bunch of killers led by Charles Manson.
Oh, he's got all kind of that whole group.
It's a bunch of the session guys, yeah. One of the guys,
support guys, session guys, who we're going to call them, are always with the
Tim Pierce. That's the guitar player I was trying to think of.
Walking the Wild Side Blue Reed. My sister loves the song. That's about the only song I can handle.
Yeah.
Leon Redbone, come and get your love. Yeah, I remember that song. Not Leon
That's
Redbone, but that was Redbone.
That's just Redbone. I do like some Leon Redbone, though.
Some of the greatest guitar solos ever. You got to point me out to one. Roberto Alomar. Gobby Alomar. Talk about a man who fell from grace.
No kidding.
Good comments tonight from everybody.
Lou Reed. Oh, we already did those. Okay.
Don't have to talk about that again. Get Lou Reed out of there.
Okay, what am I going to play in the show next? I haven't got these really in any order, so I'm just kind of.
He didn't follow the rules to his own chat.
I'm going to go with Jethro Tull's debut album. This was Jethro Tull. This is so different from any other Jethro Tull album. It's a blues album, which is how they started out as a blues band. And the guitarist at the time, forgive me, I'm forgetting his name. He went on to form another band. I'm having a seniors moment. Anyway, he was a blues guy. So this was a blues album, and they kind of parted ways because Ian Anderson wanted to take it in the direction Jethro Tull went, and this guy didn't. And anyway, this is a great album. There was a song called Beggar's Farm that used to get played on underground radio back in when this album came out constantly. And just if you like blues, check out the first Jethro Tull album.
All right. My next is an album by a guy that only did 2 albums. His debut, I think, is one of my favorite albums of all time. It was an absolute flop at the time and has gone on to be pretty incredible. And that's Cold Fact by Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. That's the guy from Searching for Rodriguez.
Searching for Sugar Man.
Sugar Man, yeah.
Folks that may not know, Sixto Rodriguez was a folk singer in Detroit. Very politically oriented folk singer. He put out this album in, I'm going to say 71-ish. It was a colossal flop. And he put out his second album and it was a colossal flop. But what he didn't know, and nobody knew at the time, is that somehow this had made its way to South Africa during apartheid and sort of became the anthem of the apartheid movement. And for a decade, he outsold the Beatles and Elvis in South Africa. Unbeknownst to him, he had no idea. He was working construction, no idea that he had sold millions upon millions of records in South Africa. Somebody eventually, and the legend in South Africa, because no one knew who he was, the legend was that he killed himself on stage, and they didn't know he was still alive. He eventually found out about it. He's now been touring the world for 20 years. They made a documentary about it. I've met him. He's a frail old man now, but what an incredible story. But more importantly, just an incredible politically oriented folk record from the 70s. Just phenomenal.
That's very cool. Yeah,
Watch Searching for Sugar Man. It's a
great,
fantastic
great documentary. If you've never seen it, it's worth a watch.
All right. Well, let's continue to talk about the man of the hour that's been showing up in the chats. And this is no surprise that he would show up. Tom Waits, Closing Time.
Oh. I didn't pull that because I knew you would.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was going to be Lou Reed.
No Lou Reed in my collection.
Damn.
I mean, songs on here. I've talked about this album, I think, on this chat before. Old 55, Hope I Don't Fall in Love with You, Old Shoes, Martha, Ice Cream Man, Grapefruit Moon, Little Trip to Heaven, On the Wings of Your Love, Virginia Avenue. It's a great singer-songwriter record from 73. They just came out with a 50th anniversary 45 RPM version on vinyl. It sounds beautiful. Get it if you can. His voice is kind of smoky, but it's not that growl that he would do from two albums from this point. He did this one in Hardest Saturday Night as kind of like the saloon singer, like After Hours, and then he kind of transformed into the Tom Waits that we know. Just a fantastic album. Great piano playing, a couple of acoustic songs, but mostly it's him on piano with some horns. Beautiful stuff. I love this album. I know Glenn does too. And then we have Randy in the comments who I know loves it as well. So if you like singer-songwriters, get Closing Time if you don't know it.
Yeah, great album. Awesome. I agree. I heard her call my name from White Light, White Heat LP. I don't know that one. Thank you so much, Dan. Nick Abram, and Bloodwind Pig. That's where he ended up after Jethro Tull. Graham Parsons. Yeah, that's a great album.
Yep.
My Sunday Feelings played it in Vancouver in the early 80s still. Yeah, that's a great song off that Jethro Tull album. Nick Abrams played guitar on Tull's first album. Thank you, Thomas. Seniors Moments. Oh, yeah, Rum Sodomy and the Lash by the Pogues. Is that their first album? That was produced by Elvis Costello, by the way.
Yeah, the first album was Red Roses for me.
Rum Sodomy is
too. Yeah, Rum
yeah,
Sodomy
I didn't
too.
think that was their first. Come on, Randy.
Go to bed, Randy.
Hey, John, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, John, I know I commented, but great job on the song. He posted a James Blunt song.
I haven't watched that yet. I didn't know John played.
Good singer, too.
He used to play in bands, I believe. He played bass. Is that right, John? But I looked up the actual song, like the original. Man, that's a heartbreaking song. Oh, my goodness. That'll just kill you.
Jim Schoenfeld. Yeah, have another donut. This one's for you, Glenn Klepper. Yeah, their first albums.
That might show up later. Yeah.
I was super lucky. Someone gave me a record collection, both Rodriguez LPs.
Going back to that Rodriguez thing. One of my holy grails was to get an OG first South African pressing of Cold Fact, and I got one.
You got one?
I have one, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I'd like an OG American one. I don't have one, but Concert Buddy does.
Okay. How about, 1966, I freaking just went nuts over this record. The Monkees' debut album. And I still love it.
Very good.
Hey, we're the Monkees. There's some great stuff on here. Papa Jean's Blues. Take a Giant Step. Which is a Goffin song too, that Taj Mahal does a great version of. Saturday's Child, I Wanna Be Free. You get the obligatory Davy song
for the girls, yeah.
And is Auntie Griselda? No, that's on the other one. Oh, I'm Gonna Buy Me a Dog. That was kind of
that's the masterpiece. Yeah, that's their God Only Knows.
Yeah, these are the Rhino. That's the Rhino reissue with the double record and outtakes or whatever, but phenomenal debut Must have sold. I wonder how many copies that sold.
There's no telling.
Tons of it.
Came out before the
Tons.
show was even a thing.
I think it outsold the Beatles at the time.
That's actually a myth. That's a myth that Michael Nesmith started.
Oh,
That-
okay.
That became blown out before. It's really funny.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah, he said he
he was
did
such
that
a
on purpose,
prankster.
and then people swallowed it.
Yeah, I love it.
That's funny. Okay, Rob, you're up.
All
buddy.
right. My next one, I'd be surprised if Glenn doesn't show this later on, but you never know. Self-titled debut of the Eagles.
That was my short list.
Not showing it, but I
Really?
considered it.
I'm surprised. Great album. Take It Easy, Witchy Woman. I love the song Take the Devil. Peaceful Easy Feeling is on here. Just to, say what you want about the Eagles, but they were
Debut.
monsters of that Southern California 70s rock, San Fernando Valley kind of thing. And this was the one that started it all. So,
And R.I.P. to Randy Meisner.
yes, what a shame. I like him way better than, no disrespect to Tim Schmidt.
Oh, yeah. me
Tim
too.
Schmidt can't sing compared to, I said compared to, he can sing, but not compared to Randy Meisner.
He's a
I don't
different
even
style.
think Don Henley and
Yeah.
Glenn Fry could sing compared to Randy Meisner.
I would agree with you. Yeah.
What a beautiful voice.
The
His
vocals
deeper
on
cut.
Take It to the Limit.
Yeah.
It's a shame that was his only real hit
I know.
contribution because his deeper cuts with the band are so good.
Well,
Yeah.
Certain Kind of Fool off of Desperado.
Oh,
And, he was so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
That original Eagles band was the band.
I agree.
Sorry,
As much
that's
as Joe Walsh is my guitar hero, that original lineup was great. I love Bernie
Yeah.
Leadon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Samuel.
I'm going to show an album that's already been shown. I think this is the first double that we have, but you knew it had to show up. John Prine's debut. We've already talked about it. It's perfect. Good grief. It's amazing that so much came from this album that stuck with his shows for his whole life. And, how many people's first albums have liner notes by Chris Christopherson?
Mhm.
So pretty cool. Love this album. Love the cover, even though John Prine hated the cover. He always said that. He's like, I never saw a hay bale before that album shoot because he was from the outskirts of Chicago. But they thought his music sounded like a guy in a barn. So John Prine.
And I
guess
told you my story that I was the first guy to show John Prine his CD when it came
Right,
out.
yeah. That's
And
awesome.
he laughed and he went, because it was just one of those fold over paper covers that they put on. They jokingly spared no expense making this product. It was the cheapest looking thing you ever saw, and he thought it was so funny.
Oh, I miss him.
I wish I got that for my cousin. I got him to sign it, and my cousin passed away, and his daughter. I should contact her and see if she's got it kicking around. She wants to. I would love to have it. I should see if could buy it off her or something. Where are we? Okay.
Yeah, there you
I hope I didn't miss any. Sorry. Red Roses for Me, the Pogues. Yes. Saturday's Child on the Monkees rules. The first 4 Monkees albums are great. I agree. ZZ Top's first album is a great blues rock album.
Absolutely.
The Monkees grew up watching their TV show. Saw the Eagles in 72 backing up Gentle Giant and Yes. Paid $250.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible? Richard Simmons sweating it. Yeah, there we go. Lamb Chop. I hope you're sitting down in Jack's Tulips. Don't know that.
Lamb Chop's voice
Is that
scares me.
Lamb Chop from Sherry Lewis, or is that?
No,
Puppet?
Lamb Chop is like alt country, but he does
Oh,
like Leonard Cohen almost speaking vocals. It's not for me.
I love Leonard Cohen.
His is almost. It's very dirgy.
I'm reading a Leonard Cohen biography right now. It's really good. Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. Yeah, Richie Blackmore, great guitar player. Infamous Angels, Iris DeMent. Yeah, I love Iris. She's got a new album out this year or something.
Mm-hmm.
Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill. I was thinking about pulling that. Talking Heads 77. Country Joe. I love that album. Great debut. Donnie Iris. Him and Mr. Prine were friends, and Chris Christopherson. They were all kind of in this.
I don't know, Donnie.
Yeah. The Waterboys debut. I know
Randy's a big
Randy
fan.
Nelson's a big Waterboys fan. The Electric Prunes. I had too much to dream last night.
What about the Electric Mayhem?
Okay, next. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. I got 2
Yeah, you should have 4.
female artists. So the one I'm always talking up, and no one ever talks about her, but I absolutely love her. Lydia Lovelace. Her debut album, 2011. This came out. Indestructible Machine. This is the liveliest punk country album you've ever heard in your life. Really heavy guitar, and a banjo comes in, and your great lyrics. And this album just is so freaking good, man. If you're not rocking to this album, you don't know. And all her albums are great. She's just amazing, and she's got a great Instagram account there. If you ever want to look it up, she's pretty cool. Lydia Lovelace. That's my next pick.
All right. My next one was mentioned in the comments. What band do I mention in every video, Sam?
You
Spice
too?
Girls.
Yeah, exactly. Outskirts by Blue Rodeo. Of course.
Great. Again, that's
Phenomenal.
when I would have pulled it, but I knew you'd pull it.
Yeah. So their debut from 1987. This is actually the remix version, which came out in 2012. Greg Keeler, the one of the two frontmen, this guy here, he went through and remixed the album, and this is vastly superior to the original release. You won't find this because they're incredibly limited pressing, but you can find the original one in any $5 record store bin at any store at any show. But phenomenal. A couple absolute Canadian anthems on here. Rose-Colored Glasses and Try was the song that made them famous, but great country rock band. I should note that they just announced last week the 25th anniversary of 5 Days in July, which is considered their best album. So they're repressing it on vinyl. They're doing an anniversary.
Oh, that's
pressing on
awesome.
vinyl.
I would love to have that on vinyl.
I have it on vinyl. It was issued for the first time about 8 years ago, and again, impossible to find. So they're doing a colored vinyl anniversary reissue. There's a blue one, there's an orange one, and if you're among the first 250 people to get the orange one, it's autographed by the band, which of course I bought because I already have like 700 Blue Rodeo autographs.
And how do you get that? From their website or
From
something?
their website, bluerodeo.com.
Yeah.
But anyway,
is it still
debut.
available on there, you think? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, I should grab it.
You should.
Yeah. I'll go check it after.
Blue Rodeo Outskirts. If you like country rock, these guys are legendary.
I'll try and order that. Always kills me ordering from an artist website. You pay like whatever, $30 for the album, but then they charge you like $25 to ship the frickin' thing.
Well, I ordered the deluxe one, and with the price of the record, which was like $60, because it's 2 LP, colored vinyl, autographed, and then shipping was like another $18. Damn thing's going to cost me damn near $90.
True.
But I went the deluxe one, so
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing $90.
Well, there's a cheaper one too, the blue vinyl one.
Yeah.
You're up, Sam.
Again, I've shown this one a million times because we're in the top 3, top 4 here. So, this is just how it is. Head in the Heart. It's their debut, self-titled. I showed this in some other video very recently. To me, it's their best album. It's folky. It's 3-part harmony. It's kind of got it's got great acoustics songs. It's got great kind of like cuts that are really good when they play them live, like the song "Lost in My Mind," "Down in the Valley," "Rivers and Roads," which is like a great song. I know a lot of people like that are in like high school, like graduates will use that for like their senior song because it's about leaving your family behind to go somewhere new, kind of thing. Just a great folk album. Again, it one of the many bands that kind of followed after Mumford and Sons broke open the doors for mainstream folk music in the the late aughts. So yeah, Head in the Heart, self-titled.
Sorry, guys. Trying to find out where I am here. Hope
Check
everyone is doing well. Hey, Danny.
Danny.
We are doing well, I think. Sam, the Explorers Club.
Yep.
You mentioned that on your video.
Yeah,
today.
Steve at All the World's a Stage showed one of their albums. They're really, really good. Really, really good.
Cabrera, Mick DeVille, Willie DeVille. Yeah. He's pretty cool, that guy. I had my cousin was really heavy into him, used to get me listening to his stuff. Mountain climbing, absolutely. Love Mountain. Wesley West, one of the great guitar players. Calexico, great band.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Alt.
Please check your Wi-Fi network.
I don't know. I guess they're an alt rock band or alt country band. I'm not sure how you describe them, with a bit of a Tex-Mex feel to them.
Is it like the Mavericks? Or a little bit harder than the Mavericks?
A little bit harder and I don't know, a bit more rootsy maybe. I don't know. I guess the Mavericks are pretty roots. Not as country as the Mavericks.
Mm.
Music in the House. Thank you very much for liking Lydia Lovelace. My God. Somebody mentions her besides me. Todd Rundgren. I am not a Todd Rundgren fan. I'm a huge fan of Andrew Partridge from the XTC. Just absolutely think he's phenomenal. And he hated Todd Rundgren, so I got to hate him too.
He's got some good stuff. Utopia has some good albums.
Yeah. I tried to listen to one of them. I couldn't get it. And
Utopia did like a Beatles album almost.
I got turned off by Todd Rundgren when he had that hit song, Hello, It's Me. What a horrible frickin' song that is. Love Calexico, yeah. Who does Rob talk about more, Blue Rodeo or Taylor Swift?
I'm going to do a Taylor Swift video one of these days. Just you wait.
Stump us. John's got something coming.
Whoa.
Doors open at 8 p.m. Yes. Thanks, Dan. Remind people not to be late. I have a Blue Rodeo box set as Outskirts album plus the remix. Yeah.
I did too. It was a CD one that they did back in 2012. It was the first 5 albums.
Yeah, and you can also buy those individually. And I bought the Outskirts. I bought a couple of them individually. I have the Outskirts one.
Yeah, it was good because there were the 2 Outskirts discs. So the original mix, the remix, and then there was a bunch of outtakes on Casino. I think Casino, and
Casino,
then there was a rarities CD as well.
Little Caesar, great blues hard rock band. Little Caesar. Boy, there used to be a band in Toronto in the 60s, Little Caesar and the Consuls.
It's a good pizza place.
Maggie Rogers, heard it in the past life. Fun debut. I never heard that.
My
Great.
best friend went to grade school with Maggie Rogers.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. In Maryland.
I met Todd Rundgren when I worked at the Best Buy HQ. He was a chill guy. I only really dig something in him, but I haven't heard of his stuff. Well, it's funny. He was a chill guy, and Andy Partridge and him just were like, ugh.
I saw he opened for Daryl Hall last year when I saw Daryl Hall.
Oh, yeah? And was he good?
It was good, yeah. And then he came out and did a few songs with Daryl.
Golden Earring. If Steve was watching, he'd be cheering. Oh, yeah, the Doors debuts. Yeah. Guys, don't forget Little Feat. Yes, I won't. I love that album. The Rob question was the Stump Us.
Oh.
He put Stump Us after the question.
Oh.
John's
always screwing things up.
He is.
My turn?
Yes,
Your
sir.
turn.
How about the first Chicago album, Chicago Transit Authority? An absolute classic. It's mind-blowing at the time, with the horns and really, in that just great song. Does anybody want to know what time it is? And all those songs. This is just a phenomenal album. Terry Cass, great guitar playing. I'm a Man, the cover of that song. South California Purples. This is just a friggin' great double album. Fantastic. One of the best ever debuts.
It's on Capitol. Were they on Capitol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their second album was just as good.
All right. My, what is it, number 3? I think Sam might agree with this one. A great debut from 93. Definitely Maybe.
Yep.
Definitely, maybe it's a good debut, or it is a good.
No, it definitely maybe was a good album. Phenomenal, and yet was still surpassed by its sequel, which was What's the Story, Morning Glory. But this is just phenomenal. What the couple big hits on here was Rock and Roll Star, Shaker Maker, Live Forever, Supersonic, Cigarettes and Alcohol. Great damn album.
And what a great opening track to start their career too.
Yeah.
Killer.
Finding an original pressing of this is on my grail list for sure.
My two Oasis fans.
Yep.
It's good.
Breaking news. The Blue Jays are actually beating the Orioles.
Well, about bloody time. We got our
4-1,
ass handed to
4-1
us
in the
last
seventh.
week.
Painful.
Somebody mentioned this album in the comments early on, and I kind of was keeping quiet, but this is such a great debut. It's the Killers, Hot Fuss.
Yep.
Just wonderful. I mean, their biggest song is on here with Mr. Brightside, but then they also have All These Things That I've Done. Jenny Was a Friend of Mine is fantastic. Smile Like You Mean It, somebody told me, is great. If you like, it's kind of it's alternative rock from 2004. Wow, this album's 20 years old next year.
What's that Killer song that goes, I got soul, but I'm not a soldier? What song is that?
All These Things That I've Done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Killers fan, but that's a great song.
It is. Believe Me, Natalie, Change Your Mind, On Top. Just Brandon Flowers. They're out of Las Vegas, but Brandon Flowers has a killer voice. They kind of picked up where U2 was kind of fading because they were a quartet and they really were doing those like anthemic kind of songs with a lot of synth, but also a lot of heavy guitars and drums. They're really, really great. And actually, their last two albums, Glenn, you would like. One of them was actually kind of similar to Nebraska by Bruce Springsteen.
Really?
Yeah, they're big Bruce Springsteen fans. They actually sang with him on one of the tracks. And they were also huge. Like when Tom Petty passed, they played at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They did American Girl and The Waiting.
I've never heard the Killers. Never listened.
This is a really, really good album.
You know the song Mr. Brightside if you heard it.
Maybe.
You've heard that at a wedding. Yeah, for sure.
You've heard it in every grocery store and dentist's office.
It's one of those songs that I don't get sick
Do
of.
I look like I go to grocery stores? Don't answer that.
Yeah, I could see you in like a white beater and some track pants on a Saturday morning.
Like a hamburger grease stain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pants and one of those muscle
Toothpick sticking out of your mouth.
He's just the old man from down the road that's like, oh, just Glenn.
Got his slippers on, couldn't be bothered to put shorts on.
They're bunny slippers, though. They're pink bunny slippers.
There's a hole in the ass, and you see his tiny whitey hanging out.
He doesn't deny it.
Is someone reporting back to you guys about me or something? It's
It's Larry.
Yeah.
He follows you and sends us pictures.
He's looking through the window.
You guys got me pegged. I'm an open book. Basil. Now, is he saying that Basil Donovan from Blue Rodeo, or is this some other independent comment that I don't know?
He's making.
It could also be just a spice like oregano.
Yeah,
that could be. George Foreman, Grilling the Meat. Is that a debut album?
That's a bad joke.
Is that Alan Parsons' first album, Tales of Mystery and Imagination?
I don't know.
It could very well be. Boston's debut, it was already mentioned earlier, and that was a monster album. Was there a bigger album at the time than that frickin' thing? Warren Zevon's Bad Luck. It's a good album. I don't think Warren Zevon ever made a bad album. Beach Boys for the song Cuckoo Clock.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know that. Chicago on Columbia. Yes, that's right. Chris Isaak debut. Underrated. I agree. Woven Hand and 16 Horsepower. Gotta love David Eugene Edwards. I don't know that one. Boxcar Willie. Yeah, it's a great album. Electric Six Fire, Detroit Electric, Garage Rock, Jack White cameos on Danger. Oh, that's cool. The Cars. Someone mentioned that right off the start. No, it's me, Basil, from the old days. Oh, so who? Am I supposed to? I don't.
Yeah,
Hmm.
his name was Basil. He had an old channel.
Oh,
the,
okay, cool. Oh,
He
yeah.
loves the zombies.
Glenn, I don't know who you look like more, Higgins from Magnum PI or Mr. Mooney from the Lucy Show. That's bad, Dan. Let's see.
I was
your
thinking
face.
Relic from the Beachcombers, but
I got a face for radio. There's no doubt about that. Burning Blue Soul, the. Yeah, thanks, Randy. The another one of those stupid names. I can't listen to them. They're on my banned list because their name's stupid. Black Sabbath, yeah.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. Please check
Stop
your
it.
Wi-Fi network.
Can you guys hear that?
yep.
Mhm.
Jesus. Of the newer bands, Queens of the Stone Age debut. I've never heard it, but ELP, yeah, I was going to pull that one. The Beatles' first album is flipping great. It is. You know what? I think it. Rob has a good point. It kind of gets. For any other band, it would be their greatest album ever released, but for the Beatles, with the way their career went and trajectory that it took, it kind of lessens it to a point.
I love it. I've got 300 Beatles albums, but it is awesome. But
Yeah.
everything that came after, not everything that came after, but 80% of what came after it.
But you got to think when it came out in '62 or whatever. When did it
It
come
wasn't
UK.
that groundbreaking because everyone else was making, to Sam's point, making records kind of the same, half covers, half originals. It
Yeah, but they weren't
wasn't
making until
that
after the Beatles.
it
They
wasn't
were the
that
first one.
revolutionary.
They were the first ones.
Nah.
Foreigner, name a band who was making one at exactly the same time. I can't think of one.
In '63,
Yeah, when that
All
album
those other groups in
came.
England.
Jerry and the Pacemakers, maybe,
Yep.
or the Hollies, because the Hollies were hanging out in Liverpool.
I don't
at
think
the
Jerry and the
tavern.
Pacemakers got a contract until after the Beatles hit. Also, Surfin' Safari is great. Yes. Moby Grape debut. Remember that album in the brown bag and it had no clues to who it was? It was the Bay City Rollers all along. Oh, yeah. My generation is bigger than the Rolling Stones and Beatles debuts. Probably. Please Please Me is better than the first Stones album. I agree. The is a terrible band name. Try doing an internet search for the.
I won't.
I don't know. Marsha, I don't know if you know I have a band list of bands I won't listen to because their names are stupid. It's the Oingo Boingo rule. And chicken 3 turds on a Wednesday night. Oh yeah. So here we
Yeah,
go.
troll.
That's a good name for an album.
There, and then let's go like this. How about we ban the biggest turd, the guy who just said that? The Laws. Sex Pistols, never mind the Bullocks. I like that. Chicken Lips was banned and their comments were removed. Yeah. Come back and get Chicken Lips.
The power you yield, Glenn.
Yeah. Thanks, Basil. We appreciate
care,
you coming
Basil.
by. Those other 63 albums didn't have Please Please Me. I saw her standing here and twist and shout. Good point, James.
Yeah, but they had better songs.
Sub to all 3 of your channels. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next. There's
Top
2 left,
two.
right?
Top 2.
Top 2.
Okay, I'm going with another monster album that came out, and I still love it. Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. This album was everywhere. She came on, and some people called her Snora Jones because they think it's boring and dull, but I absolutely love it. I love her voice. She's my second favorite female vocalist of all time, and I just love everything she does. I think she's amazing. Great talent. Norah Jones. Great debut.
I thought you might show up for you.
I'm going to show someone I don't talk about a lot, and I'm surprised no one has brought up this person in the comments, but are you experienced?
I had it in my hand.
I mean, to begin with, Jimi Hendrix, there hadn't been anything like that beforehand. And then you've got, Purple Haze, Hey Joe, Foxy Lady, and what a phenomenal album. I'm not a huge Hendrix fan, but as a guy that pretends to play guitar, I appreciate how brilliant he is. And this is just, I can't imagine hearing this when it came out back in the day, because it would have been like, holy
Yeah, it was
shit,
pretty mind blowing.
what is that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a great debut. I had it in my hand, but
All right. This is a top 10 album for me. They were a little group that only put out 2 albums, but with 2 albums comes a debut. And of course, I am talking about the Traveling Wilburys.
I knew you were
Yeah.
going to pull that one.
I did too.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Volume 1. I mean, good grief. What a perfect album. I've talked
Yep.
about it a million times. We all know the Traveling Wilburys. Handle with Care, End of the Line on their own were huge singles, but then you have the Story song, Tweeter and the Monkey Man. You've got Margarita with its breezy production. Congratulations, the ballad, the Bob Dylan ballad, the very sunny Heading for the Light, which kind of sounds like a, kind of like a What Is Life Part 2 by George Harrison. And then the beautiful Not Alone Anymore by Roy Orbison. Just, what can you say? 1988. Perfect album, produced by Jeff Lynne. It's the greatest supergroup that's ever lived, that ever will live. And if anybody disagrees, they can come see me about it.
And that's another thing. When that came out, it was like, I still remember driving to work one morning and hearing Handle with Care and going, a George Harrison song. Then they're going Traveling Wilburys. You go, what the hell's that? Like, this was like, these guys got together basically in secret and put this album out. There was no, there's these guys are getting together and wait for the album. There was no promotion. It just was there.
Yep.
It was just like, what the hell? Dylan, Harrison, Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison.
Because Handle with Care was going to be a B-side to a Harrison track. And they said, that's too good.
Can you imagine? What a crazy.
Imagine 5 monster musicians like that get together. No one knows anything
And
that's
what
going
an
on.
end
And
to
then the
Roy
album just
Orbison's
comes
career.
out without any promotion.
You know what? What an end to Roy Orbison's career. Just a great way to go out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
John's got to stump us, I think, coming up here at some point.
Uh-oh.
Def Leppard's debut album, On Through the Night, 1980. It was Solid Rockland, like the year later.
Agreed. Good album.
Which female artist's outstanding debut album just turned 30? So that would be what year?
93.
93 debut.
Would it be Sheryl Crow?
I know. Sheryl Crow, Tuesday Night Music Club. She just announced the
Oh, okay.
celebration this week, and it hasn't been confirmed, but it was confirmed in the comments by one of her staffers that they are doing a 30th anniversary vinyl repress.
Wow.
They haven't announced it yet, but someone requested it in the comments, and Sheryl Crow responded saying, "You'll get your wish, Team Sheryl." So it's
Wow.
coming.
Yeah, I'm not a record flipper where I don't buy. I don't buy records for their collectability and for the fact that I might be able to sell them. But there are a lot of people who do that, and flippers or whatever you want to call them, and it must just piss them right off when albums like this get reissued, because they're sitting on these records that this one's worth $200 and this one's worth $300, and then
Yeah.
now it's worth $30, buddy.
I'm thrilled because Tuesday Night Music Club was only pressed in, I think, 2015, 2016 as a record store day, blue vinyl. I know Music Talk with John has one. I know Chance has one. I know David from Texas Safe and Sound Audio Excursion, they've got one. And all 3 of those guys like to rub it in my face that they have one because it's my holy grail. Well, now that it's going to be repressed, I'll just buy the repress. I don't need to spend $300 on an original.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
Same with the Tom Waits side. When Bone Machine comes out, it'll be like, I think you'd have to pay over $200 US for one right now. Pretty soon it'll be worth about $40.
Yep.
Unless you're into original pressings and stuff. Which love Nora's debut in Little Broken Hearts. Yes, me too. Smash Mouth.
Wow.
The Beatles were first before all the other bands at the time in 1963. I got Dave Clark 5 albums later in 64. Thanks, Roy. I agree. I'm challenging these guys.
I did look up Jerry and the Pacemakers, and their first was 63.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know what.
There would have been no During the Pacemakers album without the Beatles.
The Beatles were February of '63, so they
Yeah.
probably beat everybody. You're right.
Yeah.
I still don't think I love the Beatles, even though Glenn says I'm not a Beatles fan, even though I own way more Beatles records than he does. I still don't think it's that great of a debut.
You know I got more Beatles.
Well, you keep chucking shit at me that I'm not a Beatles fan, so you know. You do.
I've only
Don't
done
put on your track pants and go to the grocery store.
He's gonna always be bitter about that.
No.
Did you hear that Venom when you said no?
I'm getting bullied by an old grandpa.
I haven't even opened my mouth. I've been nice all night.
Well, for once.
For one. Oh my god, that's funny. Welcome to our last chat.
Looks like I'm getting kicked out of the Eagles, everybody.
No, I think I'm getting kicked out.
Oh, it's a mutiny.
Get rid of that grumpy old guy.
Get off my lawn.
Shades of Deep Purple. Yeah, I agree. I love Mac 1. The original Deep Purple is my favorite Deep Purple. The Chirpin' Crickets. Is that
There you
Buddy
go.
Holly's
Yep.
debut? The Plimsolls debut. I agree. What a great band. Peter Case's debut. I almost pulled that one. I was not a BTO fan, but those songs, they were a monster band. I wonder how many people were looking for Volume 2 from the Wilburys, and there was,
Love it.
yeah.
People still ask for it from time to time. I've seen in comments. So
That's all George Harrison.
I thought the Masters for Cheryl's debut album were destroyed in Universal Lot.
no, they just found them about a couple years ago,
Oh, wow.
safe and sound.
I sleep
Glenn,
with that Tuesday night
I
music.
just got your email for the. I just got your email for the link.
So did I. Glenn used the slow electrons tonight.
What are you talking about?
We just got
I
your
just
email.
got your email.
Isn't that weird?
That's so weird.
Hey, John, I know you sleep with that Tuesday Night Music Club, but if you want to send it up this way, I'll take care of it.
Well, I'm going to be seeing John in person. You can just give it to me.
Yeah, you can just give it to Glenn, and I'll keep it safe for you.
Yeah. Bobby Gentry. I love Bobby Gentry. I got quite a few of her albums. I found a picture where Dylan and Tom Petty were in the same room as Lou Reed. Yeah, probably.
They probably told him to get out of there.
I'm sure.
No, Dylan
Pile
was
Driver, the wrestling album. Yeah. Get it all out, Rob. It's not good to hold in anger.
I'm not angry. I'm a very happy, calm person. I just annoy crap from
Got
grumpy
too
old
many
men.
copies. Steve Earle, Guitar Town. Yeah. The Flying Pickets. I don't know who they are, but the Wilsons. Are they the Wilson Pickets? October 60 was during the Pacemakers' debut. With the song The Beatles Turned Down. How do you do it? How do you do?
You do what you do to me. I wish I knew.
Okay, we down to one more album. And I'm going with one of the greatest debut albums of all time.
The Spice Girls' first album? Oh, no. Damn it.
Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. Freak Out, 1966. No one ever put on an album out that sounded like this, Mother. I'll tell you that. Great record. Man, I was lucky enough that I had a friend who was really into this early on. I don't know how she ever figured it out, Frank Zappa, but she turned me on to this real quick, and I just freaking, it was just so different, so weird, but it's just so good and had so many great songs on it, but so adventurous. I got a chance to see Frank in 68, but this one and the second one, Absolutely Free, just blew my mind. Just great albums, great cover, excellent record. Zappa's Freak Out.
Any guess what I'm showing?
Taylor Swift's first album.
No, it's not very good. We've established this already.
Uh,
This was mentioned in the comments.
U2.
Oh,
Music from Big Pink. Not my favorite album by the band. I actually prefer the Brown album better, but this is a phenomenal record. Tears of Rage, The Weight, which is kind of their signature song. Chest Fever, This Wheels on Fire, I Shall Be Released. Some of these are co-written by Dylan. The cover artwork, actually, although it looks like it was painted by a 6-year-old, was painted by Bob Dylan. Just a great great album. Not the first album they recorded, because the first stuff they ever recorded was what became the Basement Tapes. And then they recorded this a little bit later on, but this was the first to be released. So it's a debut, and it's fantastic.
They put all those songs down. They said, "I shall be released."
There you go.
So, thank you, everybody.
He's here all night, folks. Tip your waitress.
Well,
Yeah.
for at least 25 minutes. Yeah. This is one I couldn't get around making this the best debut of all time. In my opinion, it is the greatest debut of all time, bar none. And this is not even a band that I'll listen to that much. We've already talked about it. It's Cliché.
Yeah, that's my number one pick too. I knew everybody would show it.
And I know, Glenn, you bought it because of the cover when it first came out. I mean, you start off a career by "Bound Out."
Yeah,
what? It's a perfect album. And some people kind of poo-poo like Black Mountainside or like "You Shook Me" and songs like that are like the bluesy covers. But how many more times? "I Can't Quit You, Baby," "Communication Breakdown," "Your Time Is Gonna Come." I mean, good grief, Robert Plant, peak vocal performances on this album. I mean, all four of the boys are just at the top of their game. Before they even, hit the stratosphere, they're at the top of their game.
But a lot of times, like when you heard "You Shook Me" and songs like that, they were like that was the first time hearing a song like that. Like it wasn't like you knew
early metal.
That was they stole that from somebody or something. It was a Zeppelin song when you first heard it.
Which is kind of like when you heard Van Halen for the first time. They had that 80s sound, but they were putting out that first album in 78?
Yeah.
So yeah, they started the whole like kind of like dirge rock, like the heavy rock with like Black Sabbath and people like that.
I agree.
And even the Beatles were taking note with like "I Want You" on Abbey Road. So yeah, this is it.
Yeah, that debut is my favorite, and also just like you said, the opening track, just that guitar riff that starts the album is just
and Bonham on the rim.
Just like, oh my god, like shivers.
It is. So good list, everybody.
Yeah, it was really good. Great job, guys.
Some out of the box stuff on all three accounts.
Bruce Coburn's first album. I love Bruce Coburn's first album with Musical Friends on it. One Day I Walk. Yeah, it's a great record. I'm surprised you're not into Bruce Coburn, Sam. It's another artist I'm sure you would absolutely love if you spent some time.
Yeah, he's one I'm recommended quite a bit.
The Flying Pickets did a great version of Money. I don't know that. I love Freak Out. Me too. UGM said it had certain original flat mixes from Sheryl Crow, though UMG also said it had replacements. Fresh Cream, I thought of that one too. It's a great album. Chic, yeah, that's some disco thing, wasn't it? The Doors, yeah. Pink Floyd, great album. SACD version sounds really good. Yeah, I have the SACD, the MoFi one. It does sound really good.
At the MoFi vinyl.
From Jeff Beck's Truth. I agree with you, James. I always say that. Jeff Beck's Truth is the father of Led Zeppelin. Jesus of Cool. Debut, great album.
Yep.
I just bought an original Australian pressing of the Led Zeppelin album. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than the UK pressing, and it sounds killer. Awesome. Then I heard you love Aerosmith. Yeah, big fan.
Loves it.
Love Aerosmith. Yeah. The only thing that make Aerosmith better is if Lou Reed joined. Teasing.
Right.
I thought you were serious. Well, we got 23 minutes left. What else is going on? Anybody? You still haven't got your video up yet with your friend Bob.
It's done.
Yeah,
it's done. So I'm working from home tomorrow. So I hope I'll get it uploaded at some point tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll be up the day after.
Cool.
It's
I'm
done.
interested in watching that. Roy, commenting on the Zeppelin album when it came out. Couldn't agree more. Sam, we were hearing Communication Breakdown on Radio 1 before the album was released in '69. Yeah, mind-blowing album. You
were right, Glenn. You mentioned last week that we should jump on that 10 records thread because yours took off. Mine took off too. In 2 days, it's well over 600 views already, which I don't have the subscribers that you do, but 600 views for a video. Hell, I'm happy with that in 2 days.
Good, yeah. And more subscribers?
What's that? Yeah, I got
10
about a dozen subscribers out of it. So
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
yeah,
I picked up a few subscribers on it too. Plus, yeah, like I'm almost up to 3,000 views.
and it was a fun one to make.
It was a fun one. And now Mazzy did one is 10 jazz albums he likes to listen to most. I was trying to think of how you could do little subgenres of the topic now myself and go, could you do your 10 classic rock albums or 10, whatever.
You should do your favorite crooner albums, Glenn, that you've listened
Yeah,
to.
I could do my 10 favorite crooner albums. That'd be a really
Mhm.
short video. People wouldn't have to waste much time watching that one.
You just showed the Bob Dylan crooner albums.
Yeah, that's the only ones I've got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't get past Elvis Presley. I know Rob's a huge
I love Elvis.
Elvis
He's
fan.
king. The older, the fatter, and the more diamonds on his jumpsuit. Bring it on.
Wow.
I like that.
I think Dan wants
This
to
sounds
roast the
amazing over a
Aerosmith
crackling fire. What happened to the top 12 lists?
We use metric up here, so that's 10.
Yeah. Great debut, Stone Roses. I've never heard that. I've seen that album, but I'm not aware of it.
Somebody just showed that album. on
Hey
video.
guys, Tuesday Night Music Club, originally released on vinyl in South America in 1993.
Yes, you're right. There is a South American pressing.
Well, I
It's
wonder how
on
hard
my
that is.
Discogs wish list.
That's hard to find too?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll settle for the modern 30th anniversary reissue when they announce it later this week.
I see our friend Steve at All the Worlds of Stage just did a unboxing of Stevie Nicks'
I watched it before we came on.
studio. I haven't watched it yet.
It's a pretty set. I don't know how much it cost on vinyl.
Yeah.
He goes through the box sets, that fella.
Yeah. I love box sets too, but
I put a break on the box sets for now because they get pricey, and
yeah, they get too pricey.
I wanted to do the Darkness Permission to Land box set, but I'm like, no, I can't do it.
The next one for me is The Who, but I don't know. I gotta get a good scratch ticket from the variety store to get that one.
I got to save up for some Taylor Swift tickets if she comes to Canada.
Yeah, no kidding.
The wife is insistent about it.
Great debut, Blind Faith. Absolutely. One
Yep.
of the great albums of all time. Amanda Marshall's back on the road with a new album, right, Rob?
She is. So she did 3 albums back in the 90s and early aughts, and then had a contractual dispute with her label when she fired her manager, and she's tied up in litigation for 17 years. So then she just recorded her new album called Heavy Lifting, and she went out and she just finished touring across Canada for it. And I missed her, unfortunately. I would have loved to have seen it. I've seen a lot of videos from
What
the
kind of
tour.
venues was she playing? Like,
She's playing like Center in the Square in Kitchener.
yeah.
She probably played. I don't know where she. I think she played Massey Hall in Toronto.
Oh, really? She did. She's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
with Massey Hall still.
Yeah. So the new album is it's okay. Her first 2 albums are phenomenal. Her third album, which was called, I can't remember what it was called now. The Stories That Something. That was still her sort of pop rock, but it had a little more sort of R&B in it. And Heavy Lifting is gone even a little bit further. I'm not a great fan of the new album. Like, it's okay, but it pales in comparison to her first 2. But I love that she's out, touring after 20 years, and
That's pretty cool. It's nice that she got resurrected her career.
and her vocals are as good today as they were in the 90s. Incredible.
Wonder if she still has the hair.
She does. It's even longer.
Really?
Yeah. I actually reached out to her people to see if she'd do an interview for the Vinyl Community podcast. And they said to me, if you'd been a week sooner, she's just finished doing press. So
Oh,
they
no.
said no. But had I been a little bit sooner, I may have been able to get into the
Oh,
press
that would have been
schedule.
incredible.
Yeah, I figured, what the hell? I mean, shit, if
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
ask, they're never going to say
Yeah.
yes, right?
That's what Larry Graves does. He just tries to contact these people and
He keeps
I've got a
contacting me to
couple
do an
other
interview.
feelers out right now that I hope one of them pans out. So we'll see.
yeah.
Larry keeps contacting me for an interview, and I say, please, I'm done with press week. Like, just
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stop the
So
block.
it's
And
like
it's like,
Shark Week. Once that's over, it's once a year.
it's once a year. I'm like, Larry, please, I've got other things to do.
You got to tell them, listen, I'm too big for your little channel.
Don't hound me. Yeah, with your
Yeah.
45,000 subscribers.
That's right.
Larry's bugging my
Hey,
ass.
Larry.
about Pet Sounds. I don't know if you watched. We did a chat on Sunday.
I've
and
seen his
Larry
response
has
videos.
fallen in love with Pet Sounds all of a sudden. Like it's the greatest album.
That's what happens.
It's a masterpiece, and I know you think it is too.
It's my favorite of all time.
And he's bugging my butt about I got to listen to this again and again and again. Like I haven't heard it 100 freaking times. So now we did a CD exchange today. The video's not up yet, but with the cat out of the bag, I have to listen to Pet Sounds. And I'm going to take extemporary. Is that the right word? What is it? Extemporary notes. I'm going to take lots of notes.
Lots of notes. You know what? I like Pet Sounds, and I understand why it is a brilliant album. I don't listen to it a lot. I'm incredibly thankful that I saw Brian perform that in its entirety, the same tour that Sam saw. That was incredible. I bought the T-shirt, and I like the album. I don't listen to it that often, though, because while I get why it's amazing, there's parts of it I don't find particularly entertaining.
Because there are weak tracks on it.
Yes.
The production is incredible.
Incredible.
The work Brian did in it is incredible. It's
Yes.
genius,
Yep.
masterpiece. I
Yeah.
agree. But you can't put lipstick on a pig. You can't take Glenn Kellaway's face and turn him into Tom Cruise, even if you like Glenn.
Right.
Glenn's face. You know what I mean?
Like I enjoy it. I don't think it's bad. And like I said, seeing it done live was certainly a bucket list musical thing. So I loved every minute of it. But there are a few songs on there that I just go, I get why it's brilliant, but yeah.
They're like, is my opinion, there are 3 incredible songs, a couple of good songs, and a couple of some filler, and it's just can't be a masterpiece for that reason.
That's a hot take. Where's your oven mitts?
But anyway, stay tuned. There's going to be a big review coming up.
Sam's sitting there going, these guys are retards.
Yeah, but I have respect for
Sorry,
the
and that's politically incorrect. These guys are idiots.
I do not mean to disrespect the album or put the album down. I just don't think it's a masterpiece.
As my dad used to say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's
got one. I agree. But total respect for the album.
Okay.
Yes, let's give a shout out to Chris at the Long Cut.
Yes.
He's the one who started that albums we like to listen to the most. That has just gone totally viral in the vinyl community. You guys like Squeeze?
Yes.
I don't know too much.
I don't know enough to have an informed opinion.
I don't have a strong opinion, but good pop band, right?
Yeah.
I get the Stevie Nicks CD set tomorrow. Oh, very cool. I don't know if I need every Stevie Nicks studio album though.
That's where I was at. I like a lot of her stuff, but I'm like, I don't think I need the whole set.
And a lot of those albums are $10 records if you want the albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shape.
The Flying Pickets are a British a cappella group. They had a UK Christmas #1 as they threw the cover of Yazoo's track Only You. Oh, really? Great debut. Pearl Jam, 10. Is that Pearl Jam's first album, or is John just being a...
No, that's their first one.
10 is their first album?
Yep.
Wow. My son was a huge Pearl Jam guy. I held out on the latest Dead box this time around. We'll enjoy the 2 CD anniversary release of Wake of the Flood. Yeah, it's coming up. Hey, Caleb.
It's been a while, Caleb.
Great debut, Cindy. Yeah, that was a great debut. I love that album.
It was Tapestry Carole King's first?
I think it was.
Didn't even think of that.
That's a hell of an album.
Anyone mentioned Martha and the Muffins? No.
Just Larry Graves.
The Long Cut also recommended a wonderful Canadian, Tennessee, Alaska artist album, Resolution Road, from Easton, Stagger, and Phillips.
Never heard of them.
Me neither. Oh, what a great box set, man. I'm loving that box set. Absolutely loving it. Totally resurrected my love of Clapton. probably my favorite purchase I made this year of any music is buying that box set, and I was really on the fence about it. Has Frank Stallone been mentioned yet? No, Sylvester. We talked about Sylvester a bit. Pet Sounds is great. I'm not arguing.
Oh my word!
Not arguing. Larry wants to sing "Don't Talk." Put your head on my shoulders to you, Glenn. Yes. My favorite track on Pet Sounds is Pet Sounds.
Interesting.
Listening to the vocals only in just the backing track shows why Pet Sounds is excellent. Yeah, but that's not songs. That's just production and arrangement, right? Which I'm not arguing isn't genius. The production and the arrangement in that album, the vocal acrobatics, the harmonies, everything is all absolute masterpiece quality. No. Agree with Glenn. There we go.
He
Thanks,
paid.
Marsha. Now go back and listen to Rain Dogs. Thanks for the show. Great list.
Hey, thanks for the
Thanks for joining us. Brian Wilson, in an interview 5 years ago, Pet Sounds 4 out of 10. Smile Sessions 10 out of 10. That's how Brian Wilson ranked it?
I doubt. But you can't take Brian Wilson's interviews seriously.
Well, that's true, yeah.
You can't take what he says.
Was he in a sandbox at the time? Or I love the track Here Today on Pet Sounds. Is there a song called Here Today on Pet Sounds?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about Here Today, the McCartney song, the tribute to Lennon on Tug of War. That's what threw
Oh
me
my
off.
word!
Tapestry was their second album. Okay. Where did your long hair go? Where is the girl I used to know? How could you lose that happy flow? Is that words from Pet Sounds or something?
Yeah, Caroline. No.
You guys
Lots
think
right.
any TV show debut season's better than the rest?
Sure, lots.
Debut
First season of The Walking Dead was better than any other season.
Debut seasons are like comedies usually take a year before they develop the characters. It's usually from the second season on with a good, like Seinfeld. The first season of Seinfeld, like the first couple episodes are almost kind of annoying when they're still trying to.
Seinfeld's slow. I'll tell you what's good is the first season of Lost was very good.
Yeah.
Um,
Then it went off the rails.
it did a little bit.
Well, they lost direction, right? I mean, there was no
Dramas
people-
usually start off strong.
What's that?
Yeah.
Dramas usually start off strong. Comedies you have to build, I think. Like Friends was good from the start as a comedy. But like you talk about shows that, weren't on network, like The Sopranos and Breaking Bad and all those kind of shows. I mean, they were just incredible right from day one. My fave BB album is Holland. Good night, guys. Oh, debut album. Great to be John Coltrane. Blue Train's my favorite John Coltrane album.
Was that his debut?
I'm not sure if
He played a
I'll take
ton of
John's word
sessions.
for it, but it's very accessible.
I'm going to challenge that, John.
Good night, guys. 2 a.m. alarms are unforgiving.
Good Lord. 2
Take care,
a.m.
buddy.
That's
Thanks
when
for-
I go to bed.
I got to remember Sunday night on Steve's channel. Live stream idea: 10 favorite lines from songs. That is a good. We should tackle that.
Who should?
His first album was called Coltrane, a year prior to Blue Train.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blue Train was second.
58.
You showed a Coltrane album today on your CD pickups.
I did. It's the newest release from Impulse. It's a new live.
Did you
So-
say it was kind of? Is accessible kind of jazz, or is it really kind of out there?
No, he goes out. It's like the first track is My Favorite Things, which is his signature song. It's 15 minutes. He does a lot with the saxophone. Like he goes all over. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are. I mean, it has very high praise. And it's from 1961, so it's like that era of Coltrane, but it's a lot of him just wailing on the sax, which can be kind of hard for people.
He can be hard to listen to. He can go anywhere from it's the most incredible album you ever heard in your life to just going, I can't take this.
Yes.
I think him more than any other artist is like that. Yeah, I have a hard
I would say so too.
I'm kind of getting into Love Supreme, but
I'm glad. It takes a while.
It does take a. These are albums you gotta really want to pay attention to and listen to.
And Blue Train is the one that I got today from Amazon.
It's great.
I get the mono.
It's really good. It's really easy to listen to. It's just a really good album.
Well, that's just that era of that jazz, that late 50s.
Yeah.
Like kind of blue, because he was coming off the heels of Leaving Miles.
Well, so Mazzy, when he did his 10 most listened to jazz albums, he picked a Cannonball Adderley album called Something Else. I don't know if you've ever heard that. And that's
heard
with
of it.
Miles Davis, and I forget who else is on it. But I listened to it on Spotify a little bit, and I really liked it because I've never really listened to that album before. That's kind of, I think, that'd be my next jazz purchase. It's a pretty good album.
I bought a bunch from Acoustic Sounds on that. I bought 2 Bill Evans records that I'm excited to listen to. They were audiophile, but they were like $21.
Are they instrumental albums?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of them is it's called Trio 65 is one, because he had one called Trio 64. And then another one is a live album from around 61 or 2. Yeah.
I'll tell you, Larry Graves lent me that Alice Coltrane album, John's widow. Journey from Satchamandander or something it's called, with Pharoah Sanders.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard it.
Absolutely one of my favorite jazz albums I've ever heard. I've had it for about 2 weeks, and I've played it 100 frickin' times. I absolutely love it. Incredible record. I'm going to get all of her albums. Always remember John Lennon's favorite single was Ike and Tina Turner's River Deep Mountain High. Oh, very cool. I thought it was Coltrane on Prestige. I can't answer any of that. Anyone watch Manifest?
It's called Coltrane. It was on Prestige. Yeah.
I tried to watch Manifest. That's the
So
one
did
where
I.
we got off the plane and weren't they in a different time or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Couldn't get into it.
A mind-blowing Miles album is Miles in the Sky. Yes. Miles in 51 debut, New Sounds. I don't think I've ever heard the debut. Wow, very cool. Well, boys, it's almost time to say goodnight. On the Corner is freaking awesome. Yes, Barry. Double B's with us in the house. Yeah, that's a great album. My favorite's Jack Johnson. I don't know why. I just love it. But I like a lot of Miles stuff. So, guys, we're ready to go to bed?
I think so.
Thanks so much for a great chat tonight. Are we going to do that? 10 favorite lines?
Why not?
I will not be here next Wednesday. I'm seeing Jason Isbell.
Oh.
His tickets aren't selling here. I'm not even a huge Jason Isbell fan, but they dropped tickets to like $22, and so I
would go see him too.
Yeah, I got a ticket after fees. It was like around 40.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for you, man.
Yeah, so I'm seeing him on Wednesday next week.
Okay, cool. All right,
I'll be here.
Well, let's we'll talk on the email and see what we want to do. But that's a good idea, John. Yeah, maybe we can get somebody to join us on it or something.
Sure.
Take Sam's place for the week.
Get somebody prettier than me. No,
there's no such thing.
There's nobody.
Too much pressure on us, buddy.
Yeah, then settle for whoever else.
You're the prettiest man in the VC.
Thank you. And I'm always on time, as my thing says.
Always on time. Yes.
No, I was today.
Yeah. Good night, Dan. Thank you for all your witty comments. Good night, guys. Thanks, Marcia.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Great show, guys. Enjoyed the theme. Thank you. That's awesome. Good night, everyone. Everyone have a great night. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. Talk to y'all later.
Thanks, everybody.